One battle after another is a white man's wet dream, and honestly, that's exactly why it swept at the Oscars. But before we get into that, congratulations to Ryan Coogler and the Sinners cast and crew for winning Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Original Score, and Michael B. Jordan for winning Best Actor. I'm not going to lie, after they snubbed Delroy Lindo, I really didn't know what was going to happen. I had a feeling one battle after another would sweep, but some of the decisions, they were very questionable. Still, I'm glad that Sinners was celebrated and defended by us, not just during award season, but ever since it came out. Because Sinners is more than a film. It's a cultural reset during a political climate that is attempting to erase us. One Battle After Another is loosely based on the book Vineland. This book is considered political satire. It focuses on the aftermath of the 1960s counterculture during Ronald Reagan's era as president. The movie follows Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, a retired white revolutionary on a mission to save his teenage daughter from a white supremacist military man, who also happens to have a disturbing obsession with black women.
You like black girls? I love them. I love them.
The first hour of the film, it's all backstory. How Bob ended up on the run, and more importantly, his relationship with Perfidia, played by Tiana Taylor. By the way, in the book Vineland, what this movie is based on, Perfidia is based on the character Frincey Gates. She is white in the books, so making her black in the movie was definitely a choice. Let's start with her name. Perfidia is a noun in Spanish. It literally translates to perfidy, meaning betrayal, faithlessness, treachery. So that already foreshadows exactly what type of timing her character is on. She's unpredictable, hypersexualized, doesn't like to be controlled. She consistently shows anger and sadness and is constantly navigating uneven power dynamics, especially with Sean Penn's character, Steven. Perfidia is not empowered. Let's stop that narrative right now. Her power is conditional. It depends on her body, her sexuality, how well she can manipulate men. That's survival, not empowerment. And if she had such power in the movie, she wouldn't have had to resort to ratting on her fellow comrades. Steven is a symbol of what old America represents. A cis hetero white macho very ambitious military man with a disturbing fetish for black women. Impregnating a black woman who you have power over and the ability to destroy. Finding out she may have your child, choosing to abandon that child. And then when you want to join a white supremacist group because it has the chance of moving you up in the world, you make it your mission to hunt that child down to confirm if she's yours. And then attempt to discard of her when you find out that she is. Yeah. Sounds like most of the United States founding fathers and a few presidents too. And that is the character that led to Sean Penn winning Best Supporting Actor over Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. Steven was the perfect representation of the white Uncle Sam. Now let's get into Bob, aka Ghetto Pat. And I don't even want to get into that weird name. A cis hetero white man who is very lazy and hard to take seriously. He honestly spends a good chunk of the movie being useless, while black and brown people are putting in the work to save his daughter. And I guess that's the point. He's a symbol of New America, someone who believes he's about bringing down the system, but that energy pretty much dies once his daughter Willa, aka Charlene, is born. And by the way, unbeknownst to him, Willa is actually Steven's daughter. This movie is a show. Anyways, for 16 years, Bob and Willa are living this new life, but in reality, she's taking care of herself and him because he's too busy being high, drunk, or both. So this young biracial black girl has to grow up hyper independent. Not because she wants to, but because the white man raising her is unreliable. Which honestly was a lot of white leftists last election who chose not to vote for Kamala.
I had a video talking about how Kamala Harris wasn't going to be any better than Trump, and if you think that Kamala Harris would have been the solution to our problems, then you are also part of the problem.
Third parties aren't going to win. Y'all made Shamala Hamala Kamala.
If you're still protesting Kamala Harris in 2025, you've lost the plot.
Have we, though? Have we? Because even if we engage in this delusion that there will be like a free and fair election following the fascist regime of Trump, Kamala Harris has said pretty clearly that she hasn't ruled out running for president. It looks like she wants to.
Useless while we did all the work and we still continue to get blamed because their census plan didn't work. Anyways, we're getting off track. After years of Willa raising herself, she gets thrown into danger because her real father, another white man, is now trying to kill her. All because he joined a white supremacist group. And this is where it all comes together. Old America, New America colliding because of their connection to Perfidia and Willa, who both represent the same thing, the foundation. The people America and revolutionary movements are built on, Black women and girls. Also, special shout out to Deandra, played by Regina Hall, who was the reason why Willa was protected throughout the entire movie. Her character? Yeah, she got sent to federal prison at the end of the movie because she chose not to rat on her people. When it comes to the discourse around this movie, Deandra is often not talked about. Stephen and Bob are two sides of the same coin. One runs the system, one pretends to fight it. They both objectify Black women and were seen multiple times in the beginning of the movie saying how much they loved and liked Black girls. They exploit the proximity they have to Black women, and they both failed a young Black girl. The Fringe 75 is the name of the revolutionary group that they were a part of. And guess what their code was? I'll read it. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow because Black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. If that sounds familiar to you, that's because it's from Gil Scott-Heron's Revolution Will Not Be Televised, a real revolutionary message. And they turned it into cosplay because what they're doing is not revolution. It's white people playing anarchists for fun.
Yeah!
They're not building anything. They're not freeing anybody. Those words meant something. Black liberation, grassroots resistance, something you couldn't package or sell. And now, it's being used by people who fetishize Blackness, exploit Black women, and center themselves in struggles that are not theirs. That's not revolution, that's appropriation. Then you've got Sinners, a film that actually has something to say. Set in the year 1932, two twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan, go back to their home in Clarksdale, Mississippi, after robbing the Italian mafia and Irish mob. They even name-dropped Al Capone in the movie. That's who they robbed. Already more interesting. They opened a juke joint. Unbeknownst to them, the leader of the Clarksdale clan sold them a slaughterhouse. But they didn't slaughter animals there. They slaughtered people. Black people. And that Grand Wizard intended to return with the clan to kill everyone that was in the juke joint. Spoiler alert, Smoke kills all the clan members in the end. Their cousin Sammy is played by Miles Caton. Sammy has a gift. He has the gift of piercing the veil of time through his music. Past, present, future. And the film makes it clear. This isn't just magic, it's cultural. It exists across many traditions, including West African, Irish, and Choctaw. This gift is sacred. It can heal your community, but it also can attract a great evil. At the beginning of Sinners, the narrator you hear is Annie, played by Mumi Masaku, a dark-skinned, plus-size, natural-hair hoodoo practitioner. And guess what? She's not a stereotype. Her being the narrator puts her in a very powerful position. She isn't shown as aggressive or violent. It shows her voice matters and is powerful. She is worthy of being listened to. That alone separates this movie from 90% of Hollywood. During the Lie to You music sequence, Annie begins to narrate again, repeating herself of how people born with the gift of making music so true can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past and the future. When trouble is afoot, everyone makes sure to listen to Annie and follow her lead, including her love interest, Smoke, because it's clear she knows what she's talking about when dealing with otherworldly dangers. The power she holds is on an equal playing ground as her male counterparts. And unlike Perfidia, in one battle after another, Annie's power is not rooted in how she is desired. It's rooted in what she knows. She's not being consumed by the story. She is guiding it. She's not controlled. She's not manipulated. She's not reduced. She is respected and cared for. And that difference changes everything. The villain Remick, played by Jack O'Connell, is an Irish vampire. Remick even shares how he experienced something similar when it comes to being ruled by the British and having Christianity forced upon him, like it has been forced upon us. His character shows that even the colonized can still be harmful, especially if they have white skin. And what does Remick want? Sammy, not in the typical vampire way to suck his blood. Remick's thirst is for Sammy's power. This movie, though fantasy, symbolizes the Black American experience of wanting our rhythm but not our blues. How harm can easily be brought to us due to being vulnerable in positions socioeconomically. Even people within our communities can unintentionally bring harm to us, trying to help. It showed the violent lengths that outsiders are willing to go to steal our light. And then there's Delta Slim, played by the iconic Delroy Lindo, arguably the heart of the movie. He's easily a scene stealer, and if you're a fan of The Lion King, I consider him the Rafiki of the movie. Delta Slim is introduced when Stack and Sammy go to the train station to promote Club Juke's opening night, but also to recruit Delta Slim to perform. Delta Slim is a blues legend in the town of Clarksdale. Delta Slim is shown as a complex character due to his traumas growing up in the Jim Crow South. On the surface, he's a musically talented alcoholic who uses humor to cover his pain. But beneath that, he is caring, insightful, self-aware, and has a strong intuition. He even hints at Club Juke only lasting one night.
I ain't never heard of your Juke. Maybe it's here tonight. Is it here tomorrow night?
And that he may not even survive another 10 years. Which seems like him just talking in the moment, but it rang true by the end of the movie. And as intuitive as he is, he fell prey to his addictions to alcohol, and also is finally being offered good money, $40 for the night, which would be about $949 today. Stack convincing him to perform at Club Juke broke him from the cycle of performing at the same club he did every single night for the last decade. When he initially meets Sammy, he laughs when he hears he's a blues player, because Sammy is quite young. That requires a bit of pain and wisdom in the eyes of Delta Slim. Also, Delta Slim is quick to teach Sammy a lesson, not to step on the toes of your fellow performer.
Now this your my patch right here.
We are given more of Delta Slim's lore when they are driving past the prison chain gang. In my last video essay, I spoke about the 13th Amendment and how slavery is still technically legal in this country if you are a property of the state. Turns out Delta Slim knew all of them. While driving past, Delta Slim stood up from the passenger seat and spoke life into them. One of the men from the chain gang positively responded back, and their overseer, meaning the correctional officer, shot his gun in the air to get him back in line, letting them know to hold their heads up. He spoke about how him and his friend Rice were caught hustling, but their musical abilities saved them from being in prison. They were taken on the road to perform for different white people. He states, white folks, they love the blues just fine. They just don't like the people who make it. He spent the money he earned performing on alcohol, while Rice took all of his money and used it on a train ticket. And the train conductor seen it, made up a story about Rice robbing a white man for it and raping a white man's wife. So they lynched him and cut off his manhood. Delta Slim immediately goes into song after thinking of this traumatic situation. Once the opening begins, Delta Slim is seen doing crowd control by playing the piano. During this party, Delta Slim essentially initiates Sammy into the music scene by introducing him to the crowd. Even gave him a compliment of being a bad blues man. He was passing the baton to Sammy. Sammy was so excited he began playing. Delta Slim then stops him and empowers him to tell the people who he is and where he's from. When Sammy begins to play, the crowd reacts well to it, and Delta Slim hypes up the crowd to participate even more. Then we are shown a scene of Delta speaking to Sammy before the party begun. He says, "Blues wasn't forced on us like that religion. Nah, son. We brought this with us from home. It's magic. It's what we do."
Sacred.
While Sammy is seen piercing the veil during the Lie to You music sequence, Delta Slim can be seen in the background playing a role during the scene. I do believe that Delta Slim too had the gift of piercing the veil. He himself said it was magic and seen a better version of himself in Sammy, which led to him sacrificing himself in the end. So they, the vampires, can't get to Sammy and steal that gift, because it is so sacred. Throughout the movie, Delta Slim is seen supporting characters in different ways, whether it came down to being in the room when Stack first passed away, immediately making sure he keeps everyone out the room while Stack is bleeding out, being the comedic relief anytime something scary happened with the vampires.
I think I shot myself.
And in the end, sacrificing himself to protect the younger generation. Delta Slim was more than just a neighborhood drunk. He was a protector of his community. He represented the real Uncle Sam, the true representative of what the foundation of the United States of America looks like, and what the trauma of carrying that burden looks like. That's who deserved the Best Supporting Actor award, not someone portraying a white supremacist with a predatory lust for black women. There are so many amazing characters that we get to meet, get to know, and fall in love with in Sinners. This movie challenged the narratives Hollywood has pushed for decades about who gets to be complex, who gets to be powerful, and who gets to be human. During this award season, Sinners was nominated 492 times and won 318 of those awards. One Battle After Another was nominated 498 times and won 273 awards. But culturally, it's not even close. Sinners has re-entered theaters countless times. People still can't stop talking about it. The movie that gave us countless memes.
Y'all playing?
Sure.
Being kind to one another. And being polite. Now we is...
The movie characters people dressed up as on Halloween. The movie that was a cultural reset for Hollywood. The movie that centered Black American life, and specifically the culture of the Mississippi Delta, in a way that Hollywood rarely does. It made people uncomfortable because it removed the white savior. There was no good white man to latch onto, just villains and truth. A lot of people don't like seeing themselves like that. So once again, One Battle After Another swept at the Oscars because it's a white man's wet dream. It gives them depth, redemption, hero arcs, even when they're messy, violent, or rebellious. They're still the focus, still the hero, still the point, even when they do literally nothing at all besides causing harm. So no, I'm not shocked One Battle After Another swept. It made white audiences feel seen. It gave them a version of themselves they want to believe is real. Sinners told the truth, and the truth doesn't always win awards, but it does last. And for anyone who's still thinking the movie One Battle After Another deserves all the awards and accolades because it's driving home the necessary points about the world we live in, Black people have been fighting the system for over 400 years. Isn't it ironic that the movie about a useless white man who had to rely on Black and brown people to get his daughter back, the man who thinks he's a real revolutionary but just regurgitates and benefits from the actions of Black and brown people, wins all the awards, while Sinners is reduced to just a vampire movie? And this is exactly why we need to keep supporting our own spaces, like the NAACP Image Awards. Because if we wait for them to validate us, they are going to keep playing in our faces. And at this point, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone.